See what happens if you stop at God's drive-thru tonight on News Channel 5 at 10.
I'm Bob Schieffer. Israel unleashes its air power on Lebanon, and an Israeli official says the objective is to win this war. We start there tonight, and we'll go on to these stories.
The crisis in the Middle East pushes oil prices to new highs. I'm Anthony Mason with what that means for you at the pump.
An alarming rise in premature births is costing the U.S. billions of dollars. I'm Thalia Shrus with a report on what can be done.
And to buy or not to buy. I'm Mark Phillips with the modern version of the most famous question in literature, as Shakespeare is up for sale.
This is the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
Good evening. The Middle East is on fire tonight. Lebanese Hezbollah terrorists have fired more than 100 rockets into Israel. Israel says one of them fell in the city of Haifa. And Israel has launched its heaviest airstrikes on Lebanon in more than 20 years. The Beirut airport was hit, as were 2 military air bases, along with many weapons storage areas and terrorist headquarters. At least 50 people on both sides of the border were dead at last count. Again tonight, our chief foreign correspondent, Lara Logan, is just south of the Israel-Lebanon border. Lara.
Good evening, Bob. Well, just a short time ago, Israeli warplanes struck the highway linking the Lebanese capital Beirut to Damascus in Syria. And Israel has warned Lebanese residents in South Beirut to get out of areas where Hezbollah is present, an indication that their campaign is not yet over. For the second time in 24 hours, Israel pounded Lebanon's only international airport, this time setting fuel tanks ablaze. Earlier in the day, Israeli warplanes punched holes in the runway, striking repeatedly to inflict as much damage as possible.
We strike the Beirut International Airfield to hint to the Lebanese government that nothing is safe once they are operating against Israel. And nothing is safe. As simple as that.
That was borne out as Israeli forces attacked across Lebanon, hitting close to 200 targets, including 2 military air bases. Bridges were torn apart and roads destroyed. Panic erupted on the streets of the capital as Israel targeted Hezbollah buildings, including their TV station. Entire homes were destroyed in border villages as southern Lebanon was pounded relentlessly. As the Israeli air campaign intensified, the number of dead and wounded kept rising. Bodies piling up in mortuaries, like this one in Beirut. At the same time, rockets rained down on northern Israel in the heaviest bombardment from Lebanon in decades, killing 2 Israelis and wounding more than 100. Hezbollah guerrillas hit deeper into Israel than ever before, striking the port city of Haifa 30 miles away. Israeli television said they used an Iranian-made Fajr rocket.
This is a major escalation. We have been warning all along that since we pulled out of Lebanon, they were building their arsenal with the help of Syria and Iran.
Northern Israeli towns shut down as distressed residents took refuge in bomb shelters. And tears flowed at this funeral for one of the Israeli soldiers killed in Hezbollah's cross-border raid. The bodies of 3 other soldiers killed inside Lebanon are still lying there. Israel managed to retrieve 1 earlier today. Efforts to reach the others are ongoing. The Israeli army told CBS News tonight they still believe the 2 captured soldiers are alive. Its foreign ministry said they're concerned their Lebanese captors may try to move them to Iran. Bob?
Now, what about this bombing of this highway, Lara?
Well, this is significant because what Israel is trying to do here is to stop the flow of any kind of support from Syria to Hezbollah. They believe that Syria provides weapons and other support to Hezbollah. Syria has long been one of the major backers of Hezbollah guerrillas, and Israel is doing everything they can to stop that flow. That's why they've also blocked the Lebanese ports, and it's also a way to limit the movement of Hezbollah fighters and to try and limit their options in terms of what they can actually do with the 2 captured Israeli soldiers.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Laura. This latest crisis in the Middle East began with the capture of an Israeli soldier by Hamas. Now, that is the Palestinian group that controls the government in the Gaza Strip to the south of Israel. But it spread to Lebanon when another group, Hezbollah, or the Party of God based in Lebanon, crossed into Israel and kidnapped 2 more soldiers. Like Hamas, Hezbollah is dedicated to the destruction of Israel. Hezbollah wants to create a Muslim fundamentalist state in Lebanon. It gets its money from Iran and Syria and is believed to have cells around the world. It was behind the 1983 bombing that killed 241 U.S. Marines in their barracks in Beirut. Like Hamas in Gaza, it is also a political force with nearly 24 members in the Lebanese parliament. President Bush is en route to an economic summit in Moscow, and on a stopover in Germany today, he called the kidnapping of the Israeli soldiers pathetic and defended Israel's reaction.
Israel has a right to defend herself. Every nation must defend herself against terrorist attacks and the killing of innocent life.
That was this morning. Then just a few hours ago, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice told reporters it's important that Israel exercise restraint. And she demanded also that Syria bring pressure on Hezbollah to stop the attacks on Israel. Again tonight for analysis, we turn to Bob Simon of 60 Minutes, who's covered this conflict for more than 2 decades. Bob, what do you make of the Secretary's call now for restraint?
In Tel Aviv, Bob, the Israeli General Command couldn't agree more. It says it is exercising restraint, despite the pictures that we see on our television screens, which are very dramatic. They are not going full throttle, and the last thing they want to do is to destabilize the government of Lebanon. The Israeli objective now is to weaken Hezbollah sufficiently so that it will have no choice but to retreat. They want to close off Lebanon from Syria, from Iran, obviously, so that Hezbollah will be isolated and it can be struck at Israeli will. There's no Ho Chi Minh Trail in this part of the world. Once Hezbollah is isolated, the General Command says it can be sufficiently weakened.
All right. Now, Lebanon has asked the United Nations for a ceasefire. Do you think there's any chance of that there would be a ceasefire?
There will not be a ceasefire, Bob. The Israelis are not going to agree to one. They want to change the situation on the ground. They cannot face Hezbollah anymore across the border.
Laura Logan said, Bob, in her report that the rocket that fell on Haifa today was of Iranian manufacturer. What do you make of that?
Hamas and Hezbollah couldn't exist without the Iranians. They supply support, they supply money, they supply weapons. And Iran's interest right now is to keep the pot boiling here, to open up another front between Iran and the West, and to divert attention from the pressure on Iran to come to terms with the nuclear issue.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Bob. The State Department says there are about 25,000 Americans who live in Lebanon, many of them with a dual citizenship. We want to go now to David Martin at the Pentagon. David, will the United States make an effort to go in and get those people if this fighting gets worse?
Well, Bob, the options for evacuating them got a lot more complicated when the Israelis caught the U.S. by surprise and bombed Beirut International Airport, cratering the runways and making it impossible to fly in commercial airliners and simply bring Americans out that way. So now the Pentagon is looking at 2 options. One is send a task force of amphibious ships and about 2,000 Marines currently conducting an exercise in Jordan back through the Suez Canal to use their helicopters and landing craft to bring the Americans out. But that's complicated by the fact that those Marines are on their way to the Persian Gulf, where they would be the backup force in case reinforcements are urgently needed in Iraq. The other option is to bring helicopters down from bases in Europe and stage an evacuation from the island of Cyprus, which is about 100 miles off the coast of Lebanon. As of right now, the State Department is considering a limited evacuation of non-essential Americans, but no decision has been made yet. Bob?
All right. Thank you very much, Dave. When there is trouble in the Middle East, you can expect the price of oil to go up, and it did today, up $1.75 to close at $76.70 a barrel. What is that going to mean for you? Here is our business correspondent now, Anthony Mason.
That $3 a gallon you're paying at the pump may soon look cheap. Crude oil prices rocketed nearly $2 a barrel today to a record high $76.70, driven by rising tensions in the Middle East.
Well, there is a concern that this could escalate to the point where it will disrupt oil shipments from the Middle East, and if that happens, we could see sharply higher prices.
Lebanon may not have oil, but its neighbors do. Nearly a third of our crude comes from the Arab world, and for months, fear of disruptions there have been pushing up prices. In February, an attack on a Saudi oil facility sent oil soaring more than $2.30 in just one day. Then in April, Iran's mere threat to use oil as a weapon pushed crude up $1.50 in a day.
This is all happening at a time when the demand for gasoline in this country is at a record high.
American drivers who use 40% of the world's gasoline used more gas last month than ever before, over 9.5 million barrels every day. And trader Eric Bowling says the forces driving up prices are only accelerating.
Nothing has really changed. I mean, there's still terror, there's still geopolitics, and there's still great demand for oil and oil products. There's no question that you could see a $100 barrel for oil.
That would push gas well over $4 a gallon. Even if political tensions ease, analysts say, gas prices are likely to get worse before they get better. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
In after-hours trading tonight, the price of oil actually topped $78 a barrel. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, a premature baby boom. More and more babies are being born early, and it's become a serious problem. We'll have the story next.
Dr. Robert Jarvik, inventor of the artificial heart.
The average heart beats 2 billion times. The heart is amazing, but high cholesterol can lead to heart disease. Lipitor can help. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Lipitor significantly lowers bad cholesterol, 39 to 60%. If you have several common risk factors for heart disease, Lipitor is clinically proven to reduce your risk of heart attack. And more cardiologists surveyed said they'd prescribe Lipitor for their own families than any other cholesterol-lowering brand. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. They may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Lipitor is one of many treatment options to consider with your doctor. It's your heart. Ask if Lipitor is right for you.
Visit Lipitor.com for a free trial.
How old am I? I'll never tell.
Lots of things can give away your age, even the color of your teeth. So whiten yours with Crest White Strips Renewal. The age-defying strips remove up to 20 years of your toughest stains, letting you keep your age all to yourself.
So I'm wondering, what's a Thermacare heat wrap? Then I put it on my aching back and I realized, oh, it's like a heating pad without a cord. And my pain just melts away. Yes, I feel like I could do backflips. No.
Pop quiz. What midsize sedan has more space and power than Camry, has 6 standard airbags, gets up to 34 miles per gallon, and starts under $16,000? Is it A, the all-new Kia Optima, B, the brand-new Kia Optima, C, the shiny new Kia Optima, or D, all of the above? Correct! You picked the Kia Optima, and with the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, there really is no other choice. Hurry in and get $1,000 cash back on the all-new Kia Optima. The best value on the road.
What are you doing?
Getting ready for my test.
A test? What subject?
Cholesterol.
Are you nervous?
Well, last time I didn't do so great.
You?
Yeah, but I'm getting extra help.
Cheerios is the only leading cold cereal proven to lower cholesterol.
Grandpa, I hope you score 100 on your test.
Well, I'm shooting for something like 190.
More and more babies in this country are being born prematurely, and a medical report out today is urging action to do something about it. The report says the public does not appreciate just how big a problem this is in terms of health and cost. We have a report tonight from Thalia Assuras.
Do you want to smile, Jake?
New mom Carrie Greenside is smiling now. That wasn't the case 2 weeks ago.
I was so scared. That was the scariest 15 minutes of my life, between waking up with the bleeding and getting to the hospital.
Jake was arriving early at 32 weeks, a surprise even to Greenside, an obstetrician herself.
Completely shocked.
She's not alone. According to a sobering new report, more than 500,000 babies born every year in the U.S. are preemies. That's 1 in 8.
In fact, the report by the Institute of Medicine strikes a note of alarm. Preterm births are up 30% since 1981. Fragile preemies like those at this neonatal ICU are not only at risk of physical and developmental problems, they're costing the country an estimated $26 billion a year.
The study chairman says that's almost $52,000 per infant.
It's a lot of money by anybody's standards, and that could be better spent elsewhere.
Specialists cannot pinpoint the causes of premature births, though potential reasons include multiple births because of infertility treatments, previous preterm births, even socioeconomic and cultural factors. Despite advances in caring for preemies, the report says it's almost impossible to predict and prevent premature delivery.
The patient develops complications of preterm labor. We're not very good at stopping it.
The best advice right now, stricter guidelines on fertility treatments to avoid multiple births and early-term ultrasounds to better determine the age of a fetus.
Okay, all done.
That could mean fewer surprises for expectant mothers like Carrie Greenside.
It's just so sad that I can't bring him home with me.
And less of a wait to get home. Thalia Assuras, CBS News, Washington.
In the West, firefighters in half a dozen states are battling large wildfires tonight. The most destructive fire is in Southern California. It's already burned 40,000 acres and scores of buildings. It's threatening thousands more. The fear now is it could merge with a smaller fire nearby and explode over a much greater area. Coming up, this man can't move a finger, but he can open his email, control the television, and even move a mechanical hand. It is mind over matter.
My kids call me the finisher. Finish up in there.
Okay.
Finish your homework?
Yes.
Finish your vegetables. Something I thought I was finished with? Managing my acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn, but my doctor said over time, stomach acid was damaging the lining of my esophagus. She prescribed Nexium, said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. One prescription Nexium pill a day not only relieves my heartburn, it healed erosions in my esophagus. So I don't just feel better, I am better. And with the Purple Plus program, I get advice on nutrition, exercise, even ways to save on Nexium. My doctor did say headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium, and other serious stomach conditions may still exist.
Talk to your doctor about the healing Purple Pill.
I tell him you shouldn't do anything halfway. Let's finish up.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Excuse me, Dr. Z, a quick question. What have been the benefits of the merger between Daimler-Benz and Chrysler?
Okay, get in. Clearly, they've successfully combined the best in American and German engineering and design.
You might want to slow down just a tad.
For example, the Dodge Charger suspension originated in Germany. Since inventing the 4x4 SUV, we've improved Jeep fuel economy, and we are building a flex fuel Commander and Grand Cherokee.
Plus the world's cleanest diesel, not to mention 32 highway miles per gallon.
With state-of-the-art four-cylinder technology. The result? Better quality, performance, capability, and vehicles like this Chrysler Pacifica with the most safety and security features in its class.
Are you really a doctor?
Any more questions?
No. I'm good.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Get employee pricing plus 0% financing on 2006 Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicles. If not satisfied, simply return it within 30 days.
People everywhere are sharing their good news about Aleve.
I take it once in the morning, and the pain is gone for the rest of the day.
I can do all the things that I love to do.
Aleve does go right to the pain.
Share your good news at AleveGoodNews.com.
Aleve gives me my life back. That's what it does.
Now, the Hall of Fame eye drop. New Clear Eyes, triple action relief. It gets redness, dryness, irritation out. A triple play. Wow, new triple action relief. Three-way relief from Clear Eyes.
It doesn't look good for Barbaro, the Kentucky Derby winner who broke his right hind leg in the Preakness. His vet says the horse has developed a severe, potentially fatal inflammation in his uninjured left hind leg. He rates Barbaro's chance of survival now as a long shot. We have a remarkable story tonight. You may have seen it in your morning newspaper, but it is such a good story, we thought you ought to see it, and so we're going to tell it here tonight. Our national correspondent Byron Pitts has the story.
26-year-old Matthew Nagel was once a high school football star, but a stabbing in 2001 left him a quadriplegic. Now he's a medical pioneer.
How do you describe it to friends?
It's like a science fiction, you know, it's something you have to see to believe.
See for yourself. Doctors implanted a sensor the size of an aspirin on Nagel's brain, plugged it into a computer, and suddenly his mind literally had control over matter. Just by thinking he could open an email.
Says you are doing a great job.
He could control a television.
The television is on.
He could even draw.
That's the best circle I can do.
Matthew's progress over a 13-month trial landed him on the cover of today's Nature magazine. Dr. Lee Hochberg was the study's lead author.
The dream for this research, not the goal for this clinical trial, but in the long run, is to see if one day we can reconnect brain to limb.
To exit.
Hopefully one day we'll be able to help people with paralysis to control their environment better, to communicate more easily, and perhaps one day in the future to be able to move again.
For a hint at the future, look at this task Matthew was able to perform, moving an artificial hand.
I've been paralyzed for 5 years now. For 2.5 years, I wanted to die every day. And this came along, and it brought me hope.
That sensor's been removed from Matthew's brain now, but it's allowed him to do two things most of us take for granted: hope and dream.
As I hope it's going to enable us to move our limbs and eventually get out of the wheelchair.
This is technology once restricted to animation. But for scientists and survivors like Matthew, the possibilities now seem endless. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Stoughton, Massachusetts.
House Speaker Dennis Hastert's in the hospital tonight. He has a potentially dangerous skin infection called cellulitis on his left leg. Hastert, who is second in line of presidential succession, is 64. His office said he should be back to work next week. And Red Buttons died today. The comedian may be best known for his never got a dinner routine on the old Dean Martin roast, but he was as good an actor as there was, appearing in such films as The Longest Day. He earned an Oscar for his performance in Sayonara. Red Buttons was 87. Well, our final story this midsummer night is straight out of Shakespeare. And we'll have that next.
Lincoln Mercury has some of America's hottest selling new models. And to celebrate, every 2006 Lincoln car, SUV, and luxury pickup has the best values of the summer during the Lincoln Mercury Celebration Clearance. Like Lincoln Zephyr, winner of the Luxury Car Interior of the Year. Now lease Zephyr with 0 first month's payment, 0 down, and 0 cash due for only $364 a month. Don't miss the Lincoln Mercury Celebration Clearance.
If you use those over-the-counter drops several times a day, you may have chronic dry eye due to decreased tear production without knowing it, like me. And my doctor prescribed Restasis.
With continued use, Restasis helps increase your natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. It should not be used by patients with active eye infections and has not been studied in patients with a history of herpes viral infections of the eye. The most common side effect is a burning sensation.
More of my own tears. Thanks, Restasis.
There's an old Chinese expression, may you live in interesting times. I've anchored the evening news in what I think are some of the most interesting yet. Events happen, you turn here to get the story. When Katie Couric begins anchoring our broadcast in September, she will have it covered. Just watch.
If you're over 50 and have other risk factors, you already face a greater risk of a heart attack. Ask your doctor how Bayer Low-Dose can help prevent 1 in 3 heart attacks. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. She reduced her risk with Bayer, working wonders every day.
The latest look in fiber is showing up everywhere. All-natural Benefiber, the first fiber supplement that's tasteless and dissolves completely, so you can put it in whatever foods you fancy, even water. Benefiber, the latest look in fiber.
I feel these tingling sensations deep inside my legs.
It's a tightening feeling that keeps me from getting to sleep.
For me, it's creepy crawling. I feel like I have to get up and move just to get some relief.
My doctor said it's restless leg syndrome, or RLS. He prescribed Requip, the only RLS medication approved by the FDA. He said Requip would help relieve my RLS symptoms, even the uncontrollable leg movements that disturb my sleep. Requip helped me make peace with my legs.
Requip may cause you to fall asleep or feel very sleepy during normal activities such as driving, or to faint or feel dizzy when you stand up. Tell your doctor if you experience these problems, or if you drink alcohol or are taking medicines that make you drowsy. Side effects include nausea, drowsiness, vomiting, and dizziness. Most patients were not bothered enough to stop taking Requip. Ask your doctor if Requip can help put your RLS to rest.
Coming up in just moments on News Channel 5 at 6, a new twist in the Perry March murder case. Defense attorneys have subpoenaed his son Sammy to testify. We'll have details at 6.
Have you read a good book lately? Well, how about a collection of stories so popular they've been in print and performed on stage for 400 years? Well, a first edition of just those stories sold today, and it brought quite a price. Here's Mark Phillips.
Gentlemen and friends!
The audience at a production of The Taming of the Shrew in London's Regent's Park today probably didn't know how lucky they were.
Okay, so we're lot 94?
Not far away, another drama was unfolding.
At 1,000,006, 1,000,007, at 1,700,000, 1,800,000.
One of the very rare first collections of Shakespeare's plays was being auctioned off.
1,900,000, 2 million.
The connection? Without this book, there would be no Taming of the Shrew. There'd also be no Macbeth, no Julius Caesar, no All's Well That Ends Well. Just some of the 18 plays that only survive to this day because they were collected and published not long after Shakespeare's death in what's become known as the First Folio.
This is undoubtedly the greatest book in English literature.
For good reason. Printed in 1623, the folio not only contains the plays that would otherwise have been lost, for the first time it gathered together all 36 of Shakespeare's dramas.
2,100,000, 2,200,000.
Those are British pounds they're talking about. Multiply by 2 for US dollars. With only about 200 copies of the folio surviving, they almost never come up for sale. Of course, Shakespeare isn't for sale. Nobody owns him. His plays have been performed around the world and here at the Globe Theatre in London for more than 400 years. And the copyright has long since expired. Even for this kind of money, you don't so much buy Shakespeare as rent him.
Where are we?
Today, Shakespeare rented for?
At 2,500,000, 2,500,000. Congratulations, sir.
With commissions that comes to over $5 million. Shakespeare's characters often talked of money.
2,000 ducats!
But even he couldn't have imagined what he'd one day be worth. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.
The buyer, by the way, was a rare book dealer who probably will resell the book. And that's the news. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York. Glad you could join us. Hope to see you tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Walmart and Sam's Club pharmacies accept all Medicare prescription drug plans. And at the Walmart price, you get a great value for your prescription dollars.
This is CBS.
I waved to her and she waved to me when she left.
That's what a young Samson March says he remembers about the night his mother, Janet, disappeared. Now defense attorneys want to make sure the jury in Perry March's murder case hears what his son has to say.
A police chase that ended in a crash in Brentwood, and it was all caught on tape.
I'm very angry because we had to rebook. The trip has cost us like about $6,000.
That's double what it should have cost her, why she and several others had to pay twice to take a trip.
And in all the heat and humidity, some areas have seen some shower and thunderstorm activity, but radar now indicating not much going on in Middle Tennessee. Your news begins now.
Live with Sky 5. From your news and information leader. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. A shocking development by the defense in the Perry March murder case.
First on 5, they plan to call March's own son, Samson, to testify during the trial. News Channel 5's Nick Barris has the exclusive details. Now, Nick, this is an unusual situation. He's being called on to testify in favor of his father, who's accused of killing his mother.
Yeah,